And fellow Sim Historians, welcome back to another episode of my Victorian Sims 2 challenge. We are diving straight in today with the prices. For a little bit of a disclaimer, if you can't remember who's who, Brooke, who we encountered in our vignette, is actually the illegitimate daughter of Marcus and Molly. Marcus and Molly have only really seen each other like once before this, when he visited his sister, who Brooke and Molly live with, because Sophronia and Molly were kind of best friends growing up, and so she wanted to take her in after she had her baby, because she, you know, kind of was let go from the Prices as their maid. So we do finally have a new maid here. This is Elsie Sully, and she is fairly new. I can't remember if I actually introduced her last episode or if this was like totally new. I think she actually joined like at the very end of the last Price episode. So she is a teenager. I do tend to start off a lot of my maids of all work as teenagers, just so that we have plenty of time if they want to later, you know, save up their money, quit, and have a family of their own, which they raise off lot. Because gosh, the last time I had live-in maids and footmen and such that actually got married, it was at the Lawson household, and oh my god, I have so many regrets. It was chaos because they had triplets. And so I want to avoid doing that as much as possible because it was not fun whatsoever. However, twin daughters Prudence and Lilith, Prudence is here with the brown hair, Lilith with the red, are still taking a little bit of work in the household just because they only have one maid of all work right now. It's still kind of a lot of work, and I just can't quite get Elsie to do everything. She's fairly new. This is her first position, and so she has struggled a little bit to kind of keep up with a household of this size, of this caliber, and of this chaos. I mean, there are a lot of Sims in the Price household, but that will be changing today. At the end of the episode, we will be sending Prudence and Lilith off to the brand new finishing school. And luckily, Elsie gets along pretty well with the twin sisters. She, as you can see, is pretty good friends with Lilith already, which I don't know about you, but that actually kind of surprised me about Lilith quite a bit. Marcus and his wife, Delphine, are doing okay. They haven't exactly had the most passionate romance of any of my Sims. They just kind of, you know, tend to tolerate each other and are constantly like, good job running the house, good job at work. Okay, that's enough intimacy for the day. Which, like, to be fair, yeah, that's a little relatable. As someone who doesn't like social contact, I'm kind of like, yeah, all right, I get the minimal intimacy that you guys have going here. Is it great for your relationship? No. Unfortunately, Elsie doesn't exactly get along with, the men of the household. So you will note that she and Julian, she and Marcus have a few issues. Now, Philippa and her grandson Marius actually stop by. It's really early. It's only about 7 a.m. So nobody in the household is exactly dressed for the day. You can see Elsie is a little bit surprised to see them here. They're all like playing some kickback in the kitchen. The only person who is really dressed in the main family is Lilith. So while the rest of the household runs upstairs to go and get ready because they weren't expecting Philippa to come visit, Lilith actually does go and greet the guests. And here she is greeting Marius. She's never met Marius before, so this is their first time actually like really encountering each other, I think. And they are about the same age actually, and I didn't realize this, but they actually like really match. You can see them both rocking a little bit of like periwinkle purple here, and they actually are getting along really well. Lilith is probably the most proper of the Sims in this household. She finds appearance and propriety to be quite important to her. A little bit more so than her sister Prudence, who is pretty shy, doesn't really enjoy a lot of like social encounters near as much as Lilith does. Unfortunately, I struggle to actually get this herd of humans to... Oh. What? Oh my god. Wait, Marcus refused to make out? What? Oh my god. No, they've never like actually flat out refused things. Like they haven't been particularly passionate, but oh no. Oh no. Their relationship is falling apart. Oh, they're not even in love anymore? What happened? I'm so confused. So while they're having some marital issues in the room next door, Lilith is keeping up appearances for the whole family, completely unaware about what's going on, although a little bit confused that she is the only person who is actually out here and willing to talk to people. I love Marius's nose. I'm not totally sure where he gets it from, but I think it's so cute. Imagine that nose on a little girl. Like, oh, little button nose. I love it. Oh my god, they lost their crushes. Marcus. Why do I automatically, I assume Marcus did something. Oh my god. She's trying so hard and he's just done. And look at poor Prudence like, oh my god, my parents. What is happening? Why are they hating each other? What is going on? They are gossiping now about their son, Julian. Well, Prudence is standing here like, what am I witnessing? What chaos is this? I feel bad for this poor girl. She's like, hey, maybe like try and be friends with mom. Oh no. Oh my god, I just cringe every time this happens. I feel so bad. Delphine deserves so much better than this. As we know, Delphine has never been unfaithful to Marcus. She's been a really wonderful wife and mother to all of her kids. However, we do know that Marcus had an affair for a pretty decent portion of their relationship. Whew, okay. To try and get away from some of this family chaos, I decided it was time to have another trip. I know we'd also recently had a trip here to their hunting lodge, but I needed something outside of the household to sort of break up the utter chaos that was happening and let them have a little bit of fun, maybe if they kind of like entertain themselves, have some enjoyment and merriment with other Sims, it'll distract themselves from the crumbling marriage before them. So we send them to the hunting grounds. I actually did a little bit of research about archery, and it turns out that archery was a sport that both Victorian men and women could partake in. And so I decided that it was a good time to maybe start a little archery society. Queen Victoria was actually the patron of the National Archery Society in London. I can't remember what it's quite called, but I was pretty excited to discover that because I kind of had assumed it was just like a male sport. But you know what? We can get the whole family. We can get a lot of neighbors and such involved. So you can see here we have a lot of classics. We've got the Averys, we've got Philippa and her son Nathaniel and his wife Beatrice. And look at Ernest and Nathaniel, old pals, greeting each other. So excited to see each other at the hunting lodge. I love them. They're some of my favorite Sims. Sims, and they've just become best friends, which is just such a lovely thing to see. So I do have these really great little archery ranges. You've seen them before, but we're really going to kind of highlight them a little bit more today. They're from the Plum Bob Keep. I can't recommend them enough. You actually have like some selections of bows that you can use as well. Most of the ladies are, of course, prepping dinner, having a little bit of a chat outside in the pretty garden. We do see Elsie, who has been serving the food here, kind of standing around making sure no one needs anything. And we've got Louisa Sully King and Mr. Avery and his wife Lucinda actually playing chess with one of the farmhands. So we do have two Clarks here. Oh, and of course, Cornelius crying in a doorway, as he does, you know. I mean, that man is always upset. I guess being the mayor in town is really, really stressful because it does not suit him well. I think this poor man is going to die of a heart attack at some point. Like, I feel so bad that he is always such a mess. But as I was saying, we do have two Clarks here. Their names are Perry and Archibald. And so if you see two men kind of dressed more as like farmhands, more as servants, they were hired on short contract to come and help out with the little archery society competition that we're going to be having tomorrow. And so here we actually do see a new girl. She looks a little bit like Beatrice because Beatrice has taken her sort of in as like a bit of a protege. This is Noemi Lawson, and she is the daughter of, I think, Alexander Lawson and Marcella Sully. So they're a little bit slightly lower class. They're probably lower middle, to be honest. And so she is Beatrice's niece. Beatrice, of course, has really taken her in. She thinks she sees a lot of potential with her, and so was really excited to sort of bring her along to some of the big events in town, which is why she's here. She's a guest of Beatrice. And of course we have Marion, who is the betrothed to our dear grumpy cranky Julian, and Ernest, you know, hanging out with the ladies, as Ernest likes to do. He's not really a big fan of sort of the broadier conversations, if you will. Not in public, guys. Not in public. Why are you doing this? Oh no, they're not even best friends. They fell out of love again. What is happening? Oh my god. Oh great. And now Lilith is sick and Ernest is sick. I don't know who's actually sick here. But it's really inconvenient. So poor Cornelius is a little bit frustrated at his friend's behavior and also thinks that Delphine is really attractive, which, like, he's not wrong. Delphine is a beautiful woman. And so Cornelius is just like, great, I come out to a public event and now it's turned into scandal. Of course, why can't I just have one quiet night? And unfortunately, people don't exactly know where to stand while we are having a little bit of archery practice the next morning. And we have some people kind of standing in front of the bows, which is just not great. Beatrice, however, kind of steals the show with her incredible archery skills. Her father, who's a professor at Cambridge, taught her a lot of these more high society experiences and practices. And so she's definitely showing off a little bit while they practice some archery. And as you can see, Delphine is possibly aiming at her husband. Maybe. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like, if we're being honest. And of course, Ernest showing off as well. He's got some good stance, some good pose going on there. And of course, it wouldn't be an event without Philippa showing everyone up. Just like, let me show you how to do this. Because Philippa is just naturally good at everything. Like, I don't know what we're going to do when Philippa dies. So everyone apparently has a secret crush on Elder Delphine because there's Nathaniel hearting over her as well. And of course, Delphine is like, my stupid husband, I can't believe you. You're so mean, rejecting all of everything. Oh. So here is Perry and Archibald. Archibald is the one with glasses. Perry has the brown shirt and curly hair. They are practicing with some of the swords that they have provided for them because, you know, a little practice duel is always pretty fun. And I can just see Philippa coming up to Marcus and being like, can you just get along with your wife for one night? We're in public. You invited us here. It's not appropriate that you guys are fighting in front of everyone. Like, this is going to cause mass scandal. Stop doing it. And the ladies, of course, are still hanging out at the table. You can see that Marion and Lilith haven't really left, nor has Noemi. So I think they're just going to kind of hang out here. They're getting some propriety advice from socialite in town, Mrs. Lucinda Avery, who is Marion's mother. Philippa tires of the whole drama that has been encapsulating this event and decides to go inside and just kind of hang out on the couch, get a little lounge in, enjoy the silence while everyone is outside and being a little bit boisterous with the swords and the fishing and the archery sets. So Prudence isn't really a big fan of the archery. However, she doesn't mind having a little fishing in, especially because she feels like it's a bit productive. If she catches enough fish, she can donate it to the local church to be served to the poor. And Ernest is very thankful for the farmhands they have in town. Archibald, in particular, is a really great farmhand that they have helping out, and he's been helping out collecting all of the arrows for them as well. So he just wants to make sure he knows that. And late at night, Perry invites his brother Archibald out for a bit of a practice duel. However, what starts out as a practice duel actually kind of develops into something a little more serious. These boys have actually been mortal enemies since childhood, and as children, they both rolled the want to see the other brother, and specifically their brother's ghost. As children, I didn't even know children could roll that want, and so unfortunately, Perry actually ends up stabbing his brother and killing him. And this actually wasn't an accident. There's been a bit of a fight about who is going to be the heir, and Archibald was originally going to be the heir, but now with his brother passed away, you never know what's going to happen. And so nobody in the household has any idea about what is going on. The next morning, Nathaniel and Beatrice are having a little cuddle in bed because apparently the Lawsons need more children. Said no one ever, except maybe Justice. And everyone is outside hanging out, having a good time, and standing on the very spot that perhaps Archibald is actually buried at. So Perry stayed up most of the night to bury his brother, so nobody would know what transpired here. So it's a little bit eerie. At this point, no one has really realized yet that one of the farmhands is missing, because why would they? We really only have 3 servants who are actually here, and it's not like Perry is going to be like, hey, by the way, my brother's missing, because he doesn't want to stir up anything, you know? He's kind of hoping no one would notice. It wouldn't be a proper event without a little bit of whist and card games that, of course, Philippa is leading. So Elsie is a little concerned because no one picked up the excess arrows this morning, which was Archibald's job. So she goes to confront Perry and asks, where is your brother? Why is he not here? She's mostly just frustrated because she feels like he probably just got drunk and overslept and caused some issues there. But Perry says that he hasn't seen him all morning. He never came to bed last night, and he's a little worried about him. The two clean everything up. They assume that maybe he just got drunk and decided to take a carriage back home or something. No one really knows what's going on. Unfortunately, when we get back to the main Price household, we have some slapping fights happening between Julian and their maid Elsie. I'm not making this happen. This is just the way that my Sims are. And so oh good, Marcus is sick with the flu too. What are you, okay, maybe you shouldn't slap your employer. Like, he's going to age up into an adult this episode, and like, he's going to take over, you know, running the household. You might lose your job if you keep doing this. However, I gotta say, it's not all on Elsie, because Julian, I guarantee you, started this. Like, hands down, this kid was fighting with his sisters as a child. He is always having a red mood bar because he has the grumpy trait. It's never green. Never. Not even yellow. It's full red all the time. So he is never in a good mood. He's so hard to handle. I'm a little sad that he's the heir, because now I have to deal with him for the rest of his life. Could I kill him off? Probably. But he doesn't have a brother, so it'd be the end of the Prices as we know it. The Prices don't exactly breed a lot of men. It's been a lot of women in this household. Finally, we have a nice, comfortable lunch of Grandma's comfort soup because 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes without a fight. Like, really, that'd be great. Why are you doing this? So I don't actually know why they're fighting. I think their personalities just tend to clash. Elsie is technically, according to her trait points, is mean. She's not exactly a nice sim. And so when you get a mean sim and a grumpy sim in one room, they just butt heads immediately. Poor Prudence is a little traumatized. She has no idea what's going on. So news starts to spread around town that Archibald never came home. They live with their parents normally, and so his parents are very concerned about what's happening. So the town council, headed by, of course, the mayor, Cornelius King, meets up, and Marcus is also part of the town council as well, but he's not really here as a town councilman at the moment. He is more here as a possible witness to what happened, because Archibald disappeared during Marcus Price's archery event and party in the woods. So he, of course, doesn't know what happened. So he's not exactly going to be much of a help as a witness, but they do decide to call on a few other witnesses, namely Perry and Elsie. And they're going to be conducting interviews around town to figure out who, if anyone, knows what happened, because this should not have happened. Like, really, nobody knows what's going on. But, of course, we have a little bit of time before those interviews begin being conducted, so we probably won't have any resolution to what happened until maybe next rotation, maybe a little bit further. Now, thankfully, we have another event that I intend to go a little bit better, and that is Julian's birthday party. So he will be becoming an elder today, and we invite a bunch of families in town. We see Elsie getting into another fight. Starting to think maybe Elsie's the issue, with Rainier Harvey, the one of the Price's cousins. He is the son of Sophronia and Albert Harvey being one of my favorite Sims. I love him. He just looks like a Tim Burton character, and it brings me a lot of joy. And so Julian is finally aging up as into an adult. And I am very excited because I don't think the yellow actually suits him, but I didn't actually just want to like waste time and change his outfit. So we're definitely going to be changing him into something other than yellow. He also has a bit of a baby face, and I am anticipating on that sticking. He looks honestly a lot like Marcus. Unfortunately, he is probably the most unhappy sim I have ever had in my entire simming existence. And while everyone is doing a little smussle, he is having an emotional breakdown on the floor. Marcus, of course, is doing some town business, chatting on the phone, making sure everything is sorted. So here he is. I actually do decide to change his eyebrows and also give him a little beard. You'll see that a little bit later in the episode. I decided he needed to look a little bit less like Marcus because he looks so much like Marcus and so little like Delphine. Oh, Rainier, are you the reason everyone's getting sick? Great. It's not like I just gave everyone comfort soup like 5 minutes ago to try and get rid of the illness. I'm losing my mind a little bit. Oh, it's so great. And it wouldn't be one of my episodes if we didn't have a wedding in it. Let's be real. So we are going to St. Catherine's Cathedral with the family. Now that Julian is an adult and Marion also had her adult birthday about a day or two ago, right when they got home from the hunting lodge, I figure let's go ahead and get these guys married. Let's keep moving on. I'm ready for a sim to be heir that is not Julian, because Julian's not exactly very likable. Unfortunately, Lilith is having a bit of an existential crisis and stomping on some plants, as we can see. We've got a bunch of people here. We have some of the Averys, of course, as Marion's family. Sophronia and her son are here, and also some of Sophronia's kids. We have her daughter Eliza with her 2 twin daughters, who I love. I really love Sophronia's family. Honestly, they're so wonderful. And we have here Marion as an adult. I decided to not give her a white dress. Her family is from Haiti, as an aristocratic Haitian family, and so I wasn't really sure that white dresses would necessarily be like part of the culture there, and I kind of wanted to represent that. And I just think she looks good in green. And so we have these two get married, and Julian, of course, looks as upset as ever about the fact that he's getting married. I don't know what's wrong with this man. He's just so unhappy all the time. And it is now time to head back home for the reception. We're just doing the ceremony here at the church, and then we are heading back home. We'll do the reception at the house upstairs. They actually have their first autonomous kiss, which is really great. Somehow these two actually have a lot of chemistry, which is really wonderful, because God knows we need some chemistry in this house, because we've had some sort of rocky marriages here. Although that's not true, because Ada, their grandmother, and Maxwell had a really lovely marriage, before Maxwell died in a fire. For some reason, the twin girls are really upset. I don't exactly know what is happening, but I think they know that they are moving out to finishing school, and they don't really want to leave home. They're both a little bit of homebodies. They had a good family life growing up, and they really want to kind of just keep living here, especially Prudence. Like, Prudence is so shy. I think she's definitely a little bit worried about moving out. Julian and Marion are kind of causing me some social issues because they won't leave each other alone. Unfortunately, Elsie is also having continuous fights with everyone in the household. I really don't anticipate that she's going to last. I think she's definitely going to be fired, probably next rotation. We don't do that today because I just felt like I had enough to deal with than, firing the only maid that they have. And to be honest, they needed her to help prepare for the wedding and everything. So Marion cuts the cake, and we will find out if she is a cake smasher or not. I feel like she would be, because don't you just want to smash a cake into Julian's face? Like, it seems so appropriate, but she doesn't. She's actually kind of demure and calm. I'm just so interested to see how these two continue to act as a couple. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just like wishful thinking that they could be a great couple, but they have a lot of chemistry. Although, I don't know, because Marcus and Delphine were also a little bit like that and kind of canoodly when they first got together too. It wasn't really until Marcus started having an affair with Molly that we saw their relationship breaking down. Of course, Delphine never found out about that. Did she have her suspicions? Probably. Did their daughter Leonora definitely know? Yeah, Leonora knew. There was that whole issue with Leonora knowing and Gregory confronting their father, and oh gosh, we haven't checked in on Gregory in a while. I feel like we should probably do that in the next episode or something, see what he's doing, and I think I'm a rotation or two behind. Prudence is probably the only person in the entire house that Elsie actually gets along with, because now it is time to send the girls off to finishing school. Their brother Julian waves them goodbye with a scowl on his face, as he is wont to do. Just Julian things. And I am so excited because these are some of the first Sims we are actually sending off to the boarding school. Of course, Brooke is already there. Okay, so I decided that it was time for Teresa and Charlotte to move on to a new position, to become teachers and head teacher or headmistress at the finishing school. However, I was on the convent lot for literally less than a minute when Teresa starts a fire. It's so inconvenient to my plot that I actually let them use a fire extinguisher, which I never do because it feels like cheating in this era. And I'm really worried at this point that we're going to lose Teresa. And I feel like Teresa has to have some trauma about this because she lost her father. She actually was only a baby. I can't even remember if she was a baby or if her mom was just pregnant with her when she lost her father Maxwell to that devastating house fire. No, Charlotte. Charlotte, stop. Oh my god. I think maybe I have killed both of these Sims because I told them to use the fire extinguisher. I also have a mod that creates more deadly fires by making them spread faster. So it's a little impossible to move your Sims around while this is happening. And okay, we lost Charlotte. Good. This is exactly what I planned on happening. I don't even know what to say. I didn't want this to happen. Like, and we see Teresa is literally just leaving the scene. She's like, I can't deal with this. Let Luella deal with the death scene over there. I just like am absolutely traumatized and going to have a proper mental breakdown in the convent gardens. So she goes out to the cloister and promptly has a breakdown while one of the wards of the church watches on. So now that we have moved on from that trauma, this is the finishing school. It took me a day or two to build it, and I'm very proud of it. I really do love it. It's such a pretty place. I'll give you a teeny tiny little tour. So you did see the drawing room, of course, and this is Marcella Windermere, and she is the librarian and headmistress of the finishing school here. She is deaf, and so she uses hearing trumpets, but she doesn't have them on when she's just sitting alone in the drawing room and wandering around the house, because they don't really have any boarders other than Brooke at this point, so there's not really a need to. Here is the dining hall and the kitchen. I actually really like the kitchen. There's a cute little fireplace there, and it's quite simple and I enjoy it. Kitchens are pretty good. And here is the schoolroom where they will be taking lessons. And here is Marcella's domain, the library. I wanted the most magnificent dream fairy tale library possible because Marcella, you can see here with her little hearing trumpets, which are actually part of a project that I think it was Cupcakey of Simberry actually created. So it's kind of this joint project on chronic illness that we've been doing. There will be a deaf trait that decreases, I think, social and comfort when Kid in the Night and I finally release it. Been working on it for a little while. So she puts on her hearing trumpets and she goes outside to greet the new girls. You can see actually quite a few women in town have popped by to sort of welcome them. They live nearby. They just wanted to, hop over and greet everyone and welcome them to the finishing school. It's kind of a big to-do because these are some of the wealthiest girls in town. They have dowries of 30,000 simoleons each. And so their father spent 10,000 each as an endowment to send them to finishing school. Here you see them picking out their bedrooms. They will share a room. It's not exactly as fancy as they are used to, at least the sleeping quarters, but I think the house in general is perfect for these girls. They'll both be happy there, although I do think that Prudence is going to have a little bit more of a rough time adjusting. And so we can see that Teresa is trying to convince Marcella to let her have a job here as a teacher. Marcella is hesitant, but she understands that she needs help, so she does eventually agree. And Teresa gets a new outfit with a little bit of existential crisis sprinkled on there as a topping, and we do decide to put her in mourning because her partner has passed away, and I'm not over it. I'm really not over it. I loved Charlotte, and I loved them together, and they were going to be teachers here, and it was going to be cute, and it was going to be great, but it's fine. I mean, it's over now. The dream has passed, and there's nothing I can do about it. So that is going to be where we end off today. I hope you liked our episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see them in the future. And I am going to start streaming a little bit more regularly. At the moment, I have streams planned on Friday and Saturday. I had to miss because of some health related stuff for the last 2 weeks and some travel, funerals, fun things that happen in real life. And so I do intend to be a little more regular on that as well. Maybe some more streams during the week in the afternoons and evenings. So thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye.